Hello, Music Bear here. I'm going to show you something today that is probably the most technical, complicated stuff I have shown you so far if you have followed my videos. I'm going to start by making it play so you can hear what it is we're going to try to create. And if you don't feel that is interesting, you haven't lost any time. I'm going to play first without the effects, so I'm going to take that out there, and then I'm going to play it. Listen. That's a very simple progression, chord progression, but now I'm going to add the effect and you can hear the difference. Listen. As you can hear, the different chords slides up to each other in perfect way, meaning that they slide exactly up to the right pitch of the next chord, and that is what I'm going to tell you how to achieve, how to create. So we're going to look at a chord. Let's take a look at this one here, for instance. And I'm gonna make sure that it's inside the recording box, because if it isn't, it's kind of not very interesting, is it? It's inside now. So what we have here is 3 different chords, and as you can see here, they're very simple out of it. Not the best progression, but never mind. I wanted some spacing. As I have told you before, a chord is constructed out of 3 layers or notes. As in fact, this note is called the root note, this is called the terz, and this is called the quint. And it is the quints that we're going to look at in each of the chords. You also know, if you have followed my tutorials, that there is one semiquaver or one half note between each note in the piano. So we have one here, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and so on and so forth. And it is the semitones that we're going to look at when we are making this perfect slide. It is the number of semitones between the quint of the, should we call it the coming from chord, to the receiving chord here, and in this case we can see there are 2 semitones, or rather a whole note, but that's not important. We have to count these guys, say 1, 2, not put notes in them. So let's take a look. If I scroll this over here, and we can see now this is the coming from, and this is the receiving. So we can count again here and say 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we have we have 2 here, and those goes up, and we have 4 here, and those go down. It's not but it's important that they go up and down. But the thing is that it is the number of semitones between the the quint of the coming from and the quint of the received note. That is important. That was 4. The most we had was 4, and that is the number that we are going to use in our slide. Now I'm going to show you what I mean with that. We take a look at the have it like that, at our preset. We have this here, the pitch, and you can see I have set the range to 4, and the reason I have done that is that this is counted in cent. If we move this, you'll see it says pitch minus a pitch number and then cents, and one quaver or semiquaver is exactly 100 cent. So what it means is that when we now close that down there, if I now put in an automation track, I already done that, and I connect the, should use that anyway, connect this pitch knob to the track like that, and I then open this automation, you'll see that it is the span has a span from plus 400 to well, take my word for it, wait a minute, if I do like that, yeah, to minus 400. So because we had set the what is it called? It's called the range to 4. We get a span of the automation of the knob, the pitch knob, to exactly 400 cent, which is the maximum we're going to use in this progression. So we set the value of the range to the maximum number of semitones between the coming from and going to chord. Right? Was that understandable? I hope so. We're not going to use that. So when we are going to create this, we're going to look at we had 2 semitones going up here and we had 4 semitones going down here. So when we open the automation track, and it looks like this, we know that from this position here it drops 200 cents, and from that position here, from the second to the third, it raises 400 cents, right? And we can count, or rather we can read out the number of cents as we move the mouse. Now it would be pretty useful if we could use this up here, the magnification in vertical, but for me I can't make it work. But we can do some other things that will make it easier for us to create this automation, because it's a little bit tricky. First off, we're going to set the quantization, the Q value, to the maximum possible. That is 1/64. And then we're going to set the magnification to 400. Also, we could also set it to 800 actually. No problem with that. So, and then we're going to look here at, just have it into the recording area. we see here the light gray bars here, vertical bars, they stand for 1 beat. So we have to go up to the lighter colored, and it comes there. That was the last gray. So that is the border between our first and second chord. Here we have the coming from chord, and here we have the receiving chord, right? And we know that at our 0 position, this pitch will be perfect. So it is a question about having this pitch going from 0 to 200, and we have 200 there. So we put in a point there, and then we go to the cubic hermit progression and change it so that we'll get a curve instead. Okay, and we want it to take off over 1 beat. We could also change it over 2 beats, but here we want it to take over 2 beats. Sorry, 1 beat. And then we have to look at the tension of that guy there. You see here, when I change the tension now, you'll see I just move it a little bit more inside the point here. So we want this to be as non-existent as possible, so we won't have any artifacts in our slide, and that should be okay there. Then we move it in again like this. This is annoying, and it should be inside again now. Yes. So this was a slide up to 200, and that will change us to the right point. But this chord, the second chord, also have to play in perfect pitch. Listen now, this is important. It has to play in perfect pitch, and it will not play in perfect pitch if we let it stay up here. This is for this guy to slide up to this position. But this chord over here has to play in perfect pitch. So we immediately, as fast as we can, put it down to perfect pitch with 0 cents. Like that. That is the shortest interval. We can't put it here, that would be perfect. But we can't. But you can't hear this because this is so fast that well, it's not audible. But we will now have the perfect slide up to the 200 mark, and we move further on here and say the next position is here. And again, this is for a again we want to have it for over 1. I didn't place that perfect. It's a little bit difficult to place them perfect, but well, it's possible. And then the whole span, it was 400, so we will have to take it. This is outside the view, I'm afraid, but I'm going all the way down here to 400 mark. Should it's you could argue that if you want that, why are you then not using a like 8, and it would be much simpler to find? Yeah, that will also make the resolution and the chance to find the correct spot more difficult. I'll raise this up. I will raise this up. I can't raise this up. Well, can I move this guy down? Yep, I'm trying to move the recording view now, but they're almost invisible. But I think we managed. You can see now this is at the 400 position, minus 400, because it was a drop in pitch, right? So again, we want this to go to perfect pitch.